Hi everybody, my name is Donna Powers and I'll be the instructor for your Intro Bio online lab. I did want to talk you through the lab and show you a few things on Blackboard. So the first part that I want to explain to you is something you might have seen in an email that I sent to everyone who had registered for the class as of a couple of days ago. And that's that the lab is going to have kind of two different platforms, if you will. One of those platforms is actually using labs that Dr. Coble and I have cultivated for this course. So it's really just designed from the ground up. Last year, during our COVID year, we had to modify those labs so that we could teach an online lab instead of a face-to-face lab. So some labs will be that platform, just simply very similar to what we would have done in a lab with our students, or if you all were in a lab with me this semester, we would do these very similar things, but instead we don't require that you have a microscope, and instead we have put some pictures in place of what you would have seen through the microscope. Okay. The other type of labs will be the McGraw-Hill Connect virtual labs. So this will be, kind of fun approach to lab, and there are some ways to manipulate things in the lab and feel like you're doing something a little bit similar to doing that manipulation in a lab. So when I designed this course, it seemed to me that some of our labs are really great and had made that transition to an online lab fine, and students enjoy those labs, but yet our students do enjoy more that virtual, more modern approach, I guess, is the word I'm looking for, to the lab. So that's the way we're going to tackle it. The lab is worth 300 points, and you'll see that those labs that Dr. Coble and I have cultivated, you're in general going to complete those labs. You don't always submit the lab. Sometimes there's a section I want to see and just go over and grade for you so you know how you did and get that feedback on your learning. And then most of those labs will have a short quiz. Those quizzes are timed, but there's no proctoring service with those quizzes, okay? For the virtual labs, what you will do is complete the lab, and you want to complete it the best of your ability and try to get those answers correct the first time, because that's how you're going to get points for those labs. So there's a little variation. I think it'll keep the course spicy and fun as opposed to just kind of getting, sort of monotonous throughout the semester. Okay, let me pause this 1 minute and then I want to show you some things in Blackboard. Okay, here we go. This is our lab Blackboard page, okay? You're either assigned to an A7-1 or an A7-2. This page is going to look the same no matter which of the two labs you're in with me. So when you enter into this Blackboard course, you're just going to see the announcements come up, and the first thing I have posted as an announcement is basically something very similar to the email I sent you. But you always want to take a look at the announcements and just, make sure that whatever, I'm announcing that you're well aware of, okay? I don't post a lot of announcements, but if I feel like there was some confusion or just a reminder for some things, I will post an announcement. I basically suggest that you go here where it says Start Here. There's a couple of things that you're going to want to review, and that's this policy sheet, which is essentially kind of a layout of what the lab is going to be like, the grading in the lab, what I do if you've missed assignments and that sort of thing. And the second thing here is very important. I'll go ahead and click on it. This is the lab schedule. The lab schedule basically is just our lab outline. Now for me, I'm also taking some online classes. I would print this sheet and I would put it in an area wherever you do most of your schoolwork. So if that's your bedroom or a small office or in your kitchen, you might just have a spot where you kind of can at a glance see what's going on in your courses. And so I've put here basically whether the source of the lab was these labs that Dr. Coble and I have developed, or whether it's going to be this virtual lab through McGraw-Hill Connect. So you're going to see here that first week it's just a scavenger hunt that we cultivated. We wrote that lab. And then you see the second week we've got a couple labs with the Connect and virtual lab. And so it goes, and there are a couple of weeks, actually 3 weeks, where we're going to do one of each. Okay, so you're going to see that. So you just want to make sure that each week, if there were actually 2 labs here, that you complete 2 labs. For this particular week, these are very short virtual labs, the photosynthesis labs, but it takes 3 to kind of give you the experience and knowledge that you need to know. Okay, so this is going to be very helpful to you, just staying mentally on track. We do have lab exams that cover the previous labs. We do that 3 times during the semester. Lab Practical 1 covers labs 1 through 4. Here you see Lab Practical 2 covers labs 5 through 7. And then you see Lab Practical 3 covers labs 8 through 11. These are 45 points each. I hope that you take a look at the grading sheet so you can see just see better how many points go to your different activities in lab. All right, so for weekly labs, you're going to see a folder each week. So right now you're just seeing the Lab 1 folder, and in Lab 1 you're going to see that I've given you some information here. This particular thing, there's nothing to download here. This is just basically an item. You'll see for the second item that there's actually some downloads. There's the actual lab handout, and then there's the submission sheet. Okay, if you're not able to open these, just let me know. In the past, I have just basically uploaded these all as PDFs, so just let me know. And then you're going to submit your scavenger hunt. So this is where you're going to submit the assignment for the week for that lab, and there's also a short quiz. You're going to see mark reviewed, helps you mark anything that you've already done. So it says reviewed. If you know you already downloaded this and you're like, yep, I reviewed that, you can just use this to kind of keep track with the elements in the lab that you've already done. So in an online class, it can be really confusing what you did or didn't do, and we bop in and out of our classes. You go about your day, maybe you come back and you're like, hey, did I do that already? And so maybe you can basically develop a system where you know whether you've either completed things, or in this case it says reviewed, but maybe for you it's completed that particular part of the lab. What you're going to see for the second week of lab is that we're going to have labs through the McGraw-Hill Connect. It's not showing up now, but basically you will have access to the McGraw-Hill Connect through that link. It's my understanding that it'll be through that link through Blackboard. It will not let me go back. So, but the way that you're going to actually access the virtual labs, and it will start week 2, is you'll just go into the week 2 folder. Okay. So what I want to do is exit this preview for a minute and actually show you what it looks like from my end. Let's see if I can back up now. No, it does not like that. All right, so let me just go back into the course this way. All right, so here we're back in the course. This is going to look different than what you see, a little bit different because this is my version of this page. So if you go back, you're going to go into weekly labs. You're going to see in my folder I have basically the whole semester set up. Each week I'll just be reviewing these to make sure that everything is clear and available to you. So when you go to access your first virtual lab, this will also automatically engage, if you will, the McGraw-Hill Connect virtual lab product. So you don't have to buy anything or don't have to buy access to these labs. That was already part of your tuition for a reduced discount, and we all have to have it to be in this lab. So hence it's already incorporated into the lab as one of those first day access products. You do have to buy either online or in the bookstore a tree identification guide, which I'll come back to in just a minute. So what should happen is you're going to go into McGraw-Hill, and you'll see this from the student perspective, and you'll have this microscopy lab to complete. At some point in time, you're likely going to have to just set up, a login and password. It's always a good idea to use your school email for these sorts of things, but so you can either do that by accessing this first lab during lab week 2, which you won't see this the first week, or I'm pretty sure you can go directly through this link. The last thing I'm thinking about at this moment is going back to start here. You're going to see here on this start here, you've got the policy sheet, the lab schedule, and then here is a lot of the information that you're going to find on that policy sheet, but I like it to be just up right there where you can access it. You're going to see that the one required book that you need, or a supplemental resource that you need, will be this May Watts Tree Finder. It costs between $3 and $6 in the college store, depending on whether you buy it or rent it. So that's a thing. So you can order that on Amazon. You can order that through our bookstore with your other textbooks, or if you're nearby, you can show up to our college store, get some van gear, if you will, or college gear, and then pick up that book. The last thing that I want to just highlight here is I'm very available on Remind, and so you can add yourself to our course at CCC BIO Lab, so at CCC BIO Lab, and that way if you want to just kind of text me, then you can do that through the Remind app. So those messages come on my phone. It does not bother me. It does not annoy me. I'm glad to help, and I don't want you all to sit and be lost. It is a good idea to maybe ask your friends, are they taking the Biology 1010 plant course? And if they are they taking the online lab? Because I'm the only one teaching the online lab. And then maybe then you can have someone that you go, hey, yeah, I'm going to ask you a question about the scavenger hunt, or maybe you can go out and do the scavenger hunt together. So that's always kind of something to keep in the back of your head. So I'm just going to say I'm always available to you. Just reach out. If you have other questions, or you feel lost about something going on with the flow of your first couple of days in the semester in this class or in any other class, just let me know and I can see how I can help. But in the meantime, add yourself to my Remind course and message me that way. Okay? You can always email me as well. All right. Look forward to having a good semester with you, and take good care.